Story time, it's my favorite time, spending time reading with you. Welcome to another story time with Gam Gam. Let's see what we have for today. Welcome back to Story Time with Gam Gam. Thank you for joining me tonight for Roly Poly. This is another winter story. We just as well enjoy the snow while we can. And this story was written by Mem Fox and Jane Dyer. A new baby bear cub has arrived. And this is a Beach Lanes book. Roly Poly. He looks kind of roly, doesn't he? Once upon a time, way up near the top of the world, there lived a polar bear named Roly Poly. He had a father and a mother, but no sister or brother. Oh, he looks all snug in his bed there. The bed he slept in was his bed, and his alone. He didn't even have to share. Looks like he's got a pretty nice room set up there, doesn't it? The fish he caught were his fish, and his alone. The walrus tooth he played with was his walrus tooth, and his alone. Life was grand. Then one morning, Roly Poly found a perfect stranger sharing his own bed. Who is that? He asked. A little bit surprised, don't you think? A little brother, said his father. His name is Monty. Do you think Roly Poly's surprised? A little brother, said Roly Poly, but I never asked for a little brother, and I don't want one now. Uh-oh, somebody's not happy. I know, said his mother, but we think you will adore him. Roly Poly put his nose in the air and pretended not to hear. You think he was angry? I think he was worried that he was going to lose all of his mine alone and me time, right? Monty tumbled all over him. Hey, said Roly Poly, don't do that. I never asked for a little brother, and I don't want one now. He stood up and stormed off. Oh, look at little Monty. They're all by himself. Later, Monty sat on him. Hey, said Roly Poly, don't do that. I never asked for a little brother, and I don't want one now. Do you think he's going to change his mind? He stood up and stormed off again. I'm coming too, said Monty. Roly Poly put his nose in the air and pretended not to hear. Isn't that what little brothers do? They follow you around. A little later, Roly Poly caught a fish. He was just about to eat that fish when Monty grabbed it from him. Uh-oh. Hey, said Roly Poly, don't do that. I never asked for a little brother, and I certainly don't want one now. What's he going to do? He stormed off again, clutching the walrus tooth tightly to his chest. I'm coming too, said Monty. Roly Poly put his nose in the air and pretended not to hear. Is he going to change? Do you think he can change? Monty crept up behind Roly Poly and snatched the walrus tooth right out of his paws. Get lost, yelled Roly Poly. Get lost right now. At precisely that moment, the ice beneath them groaned. And, oh, look at that. What's that there beside Monty? It looks like a big crack in the ice. Yikes! Cracked and broke in two. Monty began to drift away. Oh, no. Roly Poly put his nose in the air and pretended not to notice. The gap in the ice grew wider. Help! Cried Monty. Help! Monty pretended not to hear. Help! Cried Monty again, at which point Roly Poly could bear it no longer. Don't cry, little Monty, he called out. Please don't cry. I'm on my way. And he limped into the icy sea. Ooh, brr, makes me cold just thinking about that. From that day onward, believe it or not, in spite of everything, Roly Poly and his little brother lived happily ever after. Well, mostly I think it probably took a little getting used to having a little brother that climbs on you and rolls on you and wants to do everything with you. But that's like having a built-in friend. And I think Roly Poly probably got to really enjoy having someone to play with and somebody to do things with. And I hope that you enjoy your brothers and sisters too, and your friends that are around you. Take time to enjoy the people that want to spend time with you. You have a great day. I love you. Good night.